Well, hello everyone and welcome back. We've made our way to game number 3 of this best of 3 between Fire Dota and KotLGuy Gaming in the Fallout Gaming Major All-Stars tournament that will be taking place in Malaysia. This is the NA Qualifier. We have one team that's going to qualify through this bracket, and in these semifinals, we need to find out which team is going to go to the finals to face potentially the winner of Leviathan going against eHug. That best of 3 will be coming up after this one. But for now, we got a score to settle. Fire Dota came back in game number 2 after they had lost fucking mad in game number 1. They have Whitebeard as their stand-in, and they were successful on the back of Ush and his anti-mage in a very big Roche fight. Now it's game number 3 time, and let's open up with the draft here. But bringing you first and foremost the coverage is myself, KotLGuy, and I got joined with me two good comrades here. I got Blaze as my co-caster, and KartDota is going to be back what's more as the stats. Blaze, welcome back, my friend. It's Vengeful Spirit Enigma for Fire Dota. KotLGuy open up with the Chen. What are your early thoughts about the draft?
I think it's a really good opener for KotLGuy here. They know that Fire Dota does not like to run the Clockwork. It's not a hero that Demon plays. So if they wanted to go for Phase 1 Clockwork, they don't have to first pick it like they normally do. And they do second pick it. Instead, they go for the Chen Steel, which Minuts is actually quite talented with, but they're even more worried about Fluff picking it up. So I really like that decision-making that they say, we'll deny this Chen from Fluff and stuff, we'll get something that we're pretty comfortable with ourselves, and we'll leave the Clockwork open because it was not banned, and they know that Demon doesn't want it. So they get it for themselves. They get a great tempo lineup. The Clockwork can initiate, engage, find those openings and pickoffs, and the Chen, he can follow through with a lot of nice damage, some good survivability cooldowns, and of course just reinforcing some push momentum. So pick and push is the play for KotLGuy. And Fire, they try to work around it a little bit, getting two pretty involved supports. Enigma focused mostly on the jungle. Does have some limits if they do put pressure out on the jungle, but in general he'll get a good early golden experience, and we were talking about that Fluff and stuff efficiency, so we'll see if he is the one to pick it up as I expect, or if they do kind of switch it around. Obviously he wasn't playing the Enigma when Sebastian fucking Mad was running with them, but Whitebeard, he's much more comfortable in this kind of Vengeful Spirit, Stunning Initiator type support.
So jungle on jungle action here. We'll have to see how much either team put into maybe potential level 1 engagements if they do want to look for early jungle contention to kind of see if they can hinder the farm potential of one side or the other. But a third pick Warlock being grabbed here, something we see kind of pulled out as an ace for a lot of the teams, mostly on the western scene as well. Even teams like Empire even pulling out from time to time, or even Virtus Pro Polar. Illidan's done a core farming Warlock. We'll have to see exactly, and of course Na'Vi, I know Phonics pulled out from time to time, even in the offlane get-up, but the second that this guy is able to put together as a core farmer a really quick time ags, hell, even a refresher, it could be devastating for team fight. And that just prompts, even before I could put out the thought, a Rubik grab to kind of contest, which already has mouth-watering options like Enigma and Warlock, but the fire back, coming back from Fire, is the Drow, which Ush just loves to play.
Oh, that is such a big pickup here. This gives so much potential for Fire's tempo and ability to control the state of the game right now. The Warlock core is something that was played around with for a bunch of different metagames. Back Dignitas was probably the first team that I really saw trying to commit to that as a core strategy, and more recently revitalized by the Korean Dota team, MVP Phoenix. So them trying to run it and have had quite a bit of success with it. We'll see what Fire Dota are able to accomplish with it. But the big thing here is he's going to have a good lane no matter what, because of the fact that he gets a precision aura. Warlock gets that extra bit of right-click damage to survive, to do the damage to get the CS, and of course he's got great abilities to survive, like the last word, and just in general some good base strength. So generally speaking, if he gets a good ward out against the Chen ganks, he'll be able to do his thing, and then of course he'll be able to follow it up with some great cooldown reliant capabilities. The chaotic offering is really potent, and if you consider the overall synergy of the lineup, you've got Venge, you got some negative armor, some bonus damage from the aura, and then Drow Ranger will be enhancing not only all 4 heroes, but the little Eidolons when they're in range of the aura or when it's globally activated.
Shadow Fiend's going to be the response here from KotLGuy as their potential mid laner. It is Radiant side. It's the first time we'll be seeing it in this series, and a hero who's been quickly escalating through potential, and well, with that comes the Yule Shadow Fiend and all of its good stuff. But I was banking maybe they would consider a core option, maybe a diffusal carrier to help out with those rocks. Hell, PL was brought recently into Captain's Mode. I know a lot of these teams haven't experimented with it, but if you need a gap closer who uses a, for Drow and also can have a diffusal, I don't know. This could be one of maybe the few windows of opportunity you could have experimented with it, but I understand if teams don't have a lot of experience using the hero, practicing scrimming with it, and plus it's a high-stakes game, probably not going to be seeing it happen, not anytime soon. But we'll have to see. Anything is anything with Dota, after all. So, well, Shadow Fiend adds a little bit of the extra minus armor synergy there, and well, they're going to need a bit more. Remaining. It is, of course, always risky to grab a Drow into one of her arch nemesis, the Clockwork,
5
but
seconds remaining.
Fire feel pretty confident with the zoning potential of this Warlock. They just need a frontliner, or not. They need a Brood, apparently. This is serious push. This is serious. This is feeling like a mid-game blitz that could be coming out from Fire Dota.
And it's a hard draft for Complexity. I mean, they have to go for their one position here. Phantom Assassin seems to be the best option, but it's not always going to be the best one to respond to Broodmother in the laning phase. Like, she's still going to have some real issues going toe-to-toe with her, and the supports, Rubik and Chen, are going to have a really rough time, too. They still have the potential to get those kills. Some Sentry Wards will be very effective in their own way, but the problem is they don't have any clear vision. They don't have any ways of seeing over trees. So the worst-case scenario is that Demon Brood can just go ahead and sit inside the trees, and there shouldn't be any way that they'll see him unless, yeah, I guess Mike could send a rocket flare all the way across the map.
That seems like the only option. I mean, do you consider maybe putting in a matchup? I mean, are they just going to be forced in a situation where they try to put a 3-lane, like a tri-lane against this Brood, or is it worth it all considering a Clockwork going one-on-one with the Broodmother in the early laning stage, or do you think Clock would just get decimated at that point? I know you need to try your best to zone back a Brood, maybe get a Dust on hand. We saw it even yesterday, you know, and getting the sentries to make sure, but ultimately, like in that game in particular, Jenkins just still found his way. So I don't know if they're going to have some influence from this Brood in this 5th pick to try to help solve the problem that could be this Brood in the mid game, but I don't know if maybe it's something you just try to change up in the early game.
It's really difficult. I feel like Complexity are drafted into a corner here. Like, if you do go for the Clock Brood lane, that lane's not going to be too bad for the Clockwork. It's where do you put everybody else? Chen, Rubik in your one position. You put them in an aggro against Drow, Venge, Enigma.
Yeah.
This is the most awkward lane you can consider. Like, the jungle's really weird as far as who takes control. But they go for the Axe, and this gives them options. This actually opens up ways that they can make these plays happen. The Chen and Rubik can roam a little bit more actively, and all three of Complexity's cores like to be solo for a portion of the laning phase. Axe and Clockwork both have ways of dealing with the spiders, and eventually Limp will have enough in his raises to be the one that kills them most frequently. But we'll see where Axe actually goes and how often he's going to be able to spin down the spiders. He can man up against the spider mother, but if she's not actually microing the creeps nearby, then it's most likely going to be an ineffectual pick. We'll have to see how it plays out.
I mean, Axe has always been kind of that classic counter, and up to this game, we really haven't even seen it acknowledged, given that both teams really like to get their offlaners early, but they changed things up a little bit here. Still looks like IX could potentially be playing that Clockwork, and then they could favor to kind of save out the Axe. Demon on the Brood. I don't know if I've seen Demon ever play the hero in a pro game, unless it's a game I might have missed personally. So I'm really curious to see if they've been running it a lot from behind the scenes during scrim play and how he's going to look to make it work. He's already heading right towards that offlane position, so this could be a bit of a reprieve from what we saw yesterday. But without further ado, we'll lead things in. This is game number 3 of a best of 3. Fire did manage to tie things up in game number 2, and now it's going to be match point for both sides. Winner moves on into the finals of this qualifier bracket. And with that, on the Dire side, we got, well, the new team Fire. It's going to be Ush playing the Drow. Just behind, we're going to have Arima Koyasi. I don't want to try to say it. It's Whitebeard. It's Whitebeard indeed. He's going to be playing your Enigma. Fluff and Stuff is going to be playing your Vengeful Spirit. Brax on your Warlock. And Demon going to be playing your Brood. But you might need to hold that thought for a moment. We got early rummaging here from Complexity. That dirty little Enigma is not going to have an easy time, not if we say so, as they plant down the sentry to at least block out one camp for now.
30 seconds to battle.
And it looks like that's all they're going to be walking away with at least. Nope, there's going to be one aggressive obs just to scout out the movement at least for now.
Yeah, and this actually opens up potential for some creep cutting from Complexity if they want to go extremely aggressive. But it looks like it is just going to be the 1v1 matchup. Swindlemelons on the Axe versus Demon on the Brood, and essentially, yeah, the Axe can just go ahead and walk out into the lane, tank the melee and ranged dire creeps, and that will be very interesting. Like you said, we haven't seen much Demon Brood, but we also haven't seen any Brax, Warlocks, a lot of potential ways this could play out. And the one thing I want to talk about is not only is there going to be the early double bounty grab by Complexity, Swindle's just body blocking the bounty rune so that it cannot be picked up, but he also has a really nice lane advantage in the sense that he actually has a constant a greater than 3.0 base HP regen because of some nice buffs, and with the Stout Shield and Ring of Protection, as well as the low base damage of the Broodmother, it's going to be really hard for Demon to actually go toe-to-toe with Swindle in the lane.
Yeah, you might just have to play it slow for now and safe and hang out nearby, at least get to that level 3 point, put together maybe the early Soul Ring. He doesn't hold the recipe like we see a lot of your Broods do. He's favoring getting a hold of the Stout Shield, yeah. So he'll just kind of dance in there, try to get a few last hit jabs, but once Swindle's able to throw together some levels, which now he's level 2, he can get the call and maybe catch Demon out in a bad moment. But top lane on the other side for the off laner here for Mike. Gets zoned back pretty hard, has to already dip into his regen piggy bank. He's got 3 tangos and a salve still to work with. Getting CS is going to be tricky here. Fluff is just ready on this VS to zone him back as much as possible.
Ooh, mid lane, though, there's a lot of back and forth here. Brax open up with the early Shadow Word, as well as the Precision Aura-infused auto attacks. He's got that Null Tally start, and he can do a lot of damage directly to Limp. Limp went for the Raise level 1 build and followed it up with the Bottle. This is a build that some people really frowned upon when I ran it in pubs, and probably for good reason. But nevertheless, the big thing here is that he was able to get his Bottle early guaranteed with the free CS that Shadow Raise offers, and only now is he going to be building up the Necromastery.
Nearby to Limp as he works in that mid lane. We got My Nuts on the Chen working in the jungle here, and I'm curious if he's just kind of stacking these camps or if he's actually going to take them for himself, or if he's going to be constantly not, you know, or if it's something that Limp is going to be falling back on the side for a bit of side farm if he does get kind of manhandled out of this lane. Brax is definitely asserting his dominance here in the mid lane as it stands for that extra sweet bonus from Ush's Drow. But they are able to split up here, and it looks like again for the second time straight, Complexity will claim both bounty runes from top to bottom.
Yeah, and of course, just the X versus melee matchup is doing exactly what you expected to. Tranquil Boot's already out for him, and this just looks really good to start off for Complexity. But of course, you have to consider the fact that Fire's lineup really doesn't hit its stride until around level 6 and 7 for most of their heroes here. You can see Drow get some early items, maybe like a Aquila, Wraithband, Treads kind of build up for Ush, and then actually seeing an Orb of Venom coming out on Fluff and stuff. A very unorthodox pickup, especially considering the fact that the attack range of Venge is only 400, the movement speed is 295. There is going to be a Courier pickoff, and this is actually pretty huge. The Dire Courier was over on the bottom lane, and I guess is mismicroed for Swindle.
I think Swindle just got a little too close and just spinned right on top of it or something and got the quick snag. Demon just tried to extend it a little too far right near the tower when it was already pushed so far in. That is a Courier down for Fire. Very devastating for them. And a smoke now coming out as Complexity look to just continue the momentum here. They scout out mid lane. My Nuts with the Centaur creep plus the help of Z-Freak's Telekinesis. This could be for easy pickings if Brax is caught out of position here, and it looks like he will be. This is bad.
He does have Shadow Word, but that's a lot of stuns.
Not enough. The stun's going to be right there in open arms, plus the raise. It's going to be Limp who walks away with the first blood. So you got a Courier going down and your first blood being taken at about 3 minutes into the game.
Yep, so this does just open up the map a little bit as My Nuts actually wants to invade the enemy Enigma's jungle, and they've already obviously caused some issues with wards, but now they're causing some issues by physically bringing their bodies into it. The Frost Arrows will connect, but it's only level 2, and Mike with the boots will be able to evade. Now actually reinforcing these 2 points in Rocket Flare. Later going to be used to kill the spiders, but for right now is actually doing some good damage to the enemy heroes.
And as Brax does return back to the lane, I know I got to keep eyes on top as these 2 knuckleheads here on Complexity. Z-Freak and My Nuts scouting out maybe for an opportunity to sneak onto Enigma, who is nearby. They are so close. I don't think they even know it here. You look at the Fire Vision. They see glimpses now, and just before you know it, Telekinesis again back.
Beautiful.
And it's just another beautifully executed gank from these 2. And now they go for Fluff. Net's going to be right there. But Fluff is going to be able to walk away. They're just eating a bit too much damage as the Eidolons are there to dish out some right click, but still, Complexity, find another 2-0 for them now.
Another nice reason why the Drow can actually be involved in a matchup against Chen is the Frost Arrows actually last for a full 7 seconds on creeps, even those that are hero controlled. So just 1 Frost Arrow and most of Chen's creeps won't be able to contribute really anything. Maybe the ranged one, the Dark Troll Summoner, can do something, but that's only going to happen every once in a while. So My Nuts not as involved. But obviously, when they get the telekinesis to set it up, they can do pretty much anything they want. And so far, they've been really making this Enigma's life miserable, though the Soul Ring does come out for him, as well as the Broodmother, who's only been able to accumulate 21 CS against Axis 38.
Yeah, when you compare this to that one when we were watching Enigma now, trying to work with the Dire Jungle initially, level 4 at 5 minutes in, typically you're looking to try to get level 6 at this point. Bottom lane though, Demon wants some help, and he's getting it right now from Fluff. Fluff's going to be there with the wave, the stun, but Swindle walks right in, and he gets the spins and the dunk! Fluff is annihilated, just too much attack coming in. Limp is trying to clean out the Spider's Nest with a couple of raises, but Demon is not going to be caught, so they lose their support. There's going to be the call. But he's just too tanky. Demon's not going to be able to do a whole lot. It's enough to scare Swindle Melon back, but that is not how they wanted that engagement to go. And yeah, Ush on the other side. They cut him off. The support duo again is going to find another good grab. And just like that, your Drow will fall 4-0. It's going to be Complexity off to the races.
One thing real quick, we're going to see the Golem come down, but it doesn't actually connect with the stun despite having a massive radius. It's juked by Minuts. He will go down. And he will lose a decent chunk of gold here. This is going to be a death for him, but look how much he's banked up. 0 items in inventory, and the Chen has had 2,000 gold, now down to 1,900.
Maybe he's looking to save up for a Blink Dagger and do the Blink tactic.
Oh my gosh, that would be absurd.
More than likely not. Maybe just reserving straight up to get a hold of the mech, because nowadays Shadow Fiends aren't really about that mech life anymore, so I imagine Chen will be the one to hold the mech. Limp could then decide if he wants to go down the road of the Yules, Blink Dagger, or what have you. We'll have to see. But it looks like Complexity will need a second, apparently, so we'll call out the pause for now. But yeah, Fire desperately needed to get themselves on the board with that one, and they do so.
I actually think the Blink Dagger might be on point here. He just buys a TP scroll. If you're going for a mechanism build-up, you usually pick up the boots when you get the chance, maybe a Basilius or an Arcanes to get the mana flowing before you go in for the mechanism itself. They does actually buy the components for the Buckler, though, and the Chainmail can come out at the side shop as he intends it to. So it is just going to be a mech rush, no boots, and presumably Zfreak will be able to get some Arcanes out pretty early. Anyways, Chen brings forth his army to the lane. I will note there is one thing that is new to Chen with this Holy Test of Faith that he didn't actually take advantage of, is you can actually, as long as you don't have it maxed out, use the Test of Faith on yourself and then TP to the lane, and that makes it so that you don't lose the 200 mana. You still get all the creeps in the front line because of the delay, but you don't have to waste that actually pretty hefty 200 mana cost.
Definitely a good point if you want to max the efficiency and be able to have full mana to work with and not expend a whole lot. But he's got the Dream Army right now. Look at the Centaurs roam right now. These two have been putting in the mileage as far as catching out anyone and getting the job done. And they are sweeping through Fire's jungle. There's not going to be anyone there. Ush is already on the way out to the other side of the world. And touching base with bottom. Demon now level 7, just about to be level 8. Swindle's forced to hide under the tower, it looks like, for now at level 9. But
I don't know if he's really hiding. He's got a Blink Dagger. He's just waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah.
But, of course, 3v1, they might be able to bring him down, but probably even then, not without any casualties.
It's rough, too. You're going into a Tier 1 tower. I imagine plenty of them are going to have TPs on hand. You see one there on Shadow Fiend. Not one yet on Chen. Rubik doesn't have one either, though, so we'll see if they kind of check it out. But those two supports have still been running around the jungle, just taking away the jungle from Fire, getting what they can in the meantime. But this means a lot of Fire members just kind of running around trying to find a place for themselves.
Yeah, honestly, like it's not really that they're trying to find an opportunity to gank the Axe. It's more like they have nowhere else to be, so they just happen to be in his vicinity. But this guy's not going down. He has 1,000 HP. He's going to be going for the Vanguard very shortly. Just naturally, 8 armor and the Stout Shield, along with the potential plus 40 from Berserker's Call. This guy's going to tank through just about anything, and I'm actually just going to go in. He doesn't get the taunt on the spiders. That's the big difference maker. And actually, Demon will maybe do a little bit of damage here. Still, don't attack him with the spiders. You're just going to feed them away. And he keeps walking. I really don't know why. This is the second time Demon has attacked him with spiders. The first time, he actually had a chance to do fatal damage with their right clicks. That time, it was absolutely impossible.
Maybe just trying to slow him down a bit. Brax is here now, dropping the rock right onto Swindle's head. And here comes Wipe here. Do they want to expend 2 ultimates to take him down? Nope. Yep, they do. They need to get this axe down, apparently, and they will use all of their resources to make sure they can slay the beast. But Complexity won't walk away empty-handed. They push down this top lane and find the farm there.
Yeah, but that's some calling space created. With the rocket flares that are going to be continuously bombarding down on the tier 1, they're going to have the push advantage where they get not only the top tier 1 in exchange, but they also get some extra damage on the other lanes. So they force rotations to the bottom lane, they force the black hole, they force the chaotic offering, two of the biggest cooldowns you can ask for, and all they get is the Axe, who, although he's been having a good game, it's not really like he's getting a kill streak ended. He's only just begun to show what he can accomplish this game.
So as expected, as Cart pointed out, it is going to be the Midas thrown together here for Brax. It's en route to come together, and then he could try to blitz forward to getting a hold of that precious and sweet Agnum's potential refresher combo. That's when things get really out of control there, so we'll see. It also comes down to Z-Freak here, who's almost getting to level 6. The potential to steal that chaotic offering could be a game changer for themselves, so we'll have to see. They have been working in the Fire Jungle for at least the past, 3 minutes or so, finding plenty of farm. And with that, they rotate towards the mid lane. Hookshot's not going to connect there for Mike as he scouts out with the rocket. Whitebeard is nearby, and he will be able to get away scot-free. I say that for now, but there's the blink jump onto Brax. Midnight Pulse is going to be dropped, but Brax is going to be dropped as well. So they do manage to grab a hold of one, and the middle tower will also be taken down. Complexity find the kill, they find the tower, and they add pressure towards the mid lane, while the meanwhile Demon pressures the bottom.
Yep, so in this position, the Axe can still confidently TP right onto the wave and go for the taunt. He will be able to get a lot of spiders killed, and the tier 2 doesn't really cop too much damage. Now, as far as getting the kill, it's all about the RNG, or PRD rather, and the dunk is going to come through as there are enough spins. So just making the play happen. It was a close call. Demon might have been able to survive, but the Axe just brings the pain, and yeah, he's able to just completely destroy the Brood's intentions. Before the Blink Dagger, Demon has some options. I feel he kind of misused those options in the sense that he was attacking very frequently spiders against a counter helix that's been maxed out, but in this case, now he has no choice. The Blink Taunt makes it so that these spiders are attacking, are triggering more and more damage for Swindle, and he's just building up even more momentum. The Vanguard now online, the Mechanism Hand of God pretty much there for my nuts. Maybe he's still not going for that mech. I think that Blink Dagger could just come, because either that or he's trying to be the most efficient he possibly could be with his unreliable gold.
Yeah, really. He's just sitting on plenty of chunk and change. But we'll see what he decides to kind of splurge on. And for poor little Demon, as he tries to continue to split push the lane, they even have this nice little aggressive ward to maybe see if Axe is coming in from like the north. But even then, it's just not enough. Axe will just be there in time. He gets the blink, but he's going to be the one in trouble. They flank him from all fronts. Upheaval to slow him down, trying to get the call off. Does do so onto Brax, but by then it's too late. The right clicks are coming from Ush, but he is still alive, taking up so much damage. He finally goes down. It's a sweaty mess right now for Fire, and they are trying to segue right into the Roach Pit, but Complexity are nearby and could be onto it here. This is going to be a risky play. Mike's going to be able to hookshot it if he wants. The Rocket's there. They need to pull back, but the hook's going to be connected onto Ush. And now the Requiem flies out. Vengeful Spirit's going to be taken down. My Nuts gets the double kill takedown, as also Ush will be dropped. And with that, Complexity are going to be able to step in and take the Roach for themselves. Demon, though, he's a feisty one. He's nearby, maybe thinking he could sneak in a steal. Let's see if it can get done.
Oh, they have the sentry on the cliff. They actually are able to get some damage on him, which would actually prevent him from cliff walking and tree walking, and now he's stuck in the pit.
He's done. Black Hole does connect, but we need follow-up damage, and we don't got it. Rock's not online. It was already used, so that's all they can do with it. Unfortunately, that would have been an optimal hole and a different time and a different fight, but for this one, it's not going to matter a whole lot. But still, Complexity kind of wounded at this point. Fluff is back from the dead and maybe trying to get them scared and away. Ush also getting involved. They still have that tier 1 to TP2, so Complexity are just determined at this point to finish what they started. They have Swindle Melons back on the front lines now, and with a good jump in, they could still take control of this. Even the buyback coming out, as Demon is right back near the pit, but that sentry is still there. He could jump up to the high ground if he wanted to, maybe, and make the call, but he's going to reserve it for now.
Yeah, they do have the vision with the Observer and the sentry here. They know about Demon's positioning. They want to kind of bait him into a bad spot where they can just completely screw him over. But the bottom line is that just like Fire aren't able to take the objectives that they want to. They really wanted to take advantage of the fact that Mask of Menace Drow was one of the earliest Roshan's in the game. I think it's just behind Ursa, but at the end of the day, they just can't do it. And hookshot almost puts even more kills in Complexity's belt. But I gotta say, there was a little bit of panic there on the side of Fire. Like, Ush could have gusted the Clockwork out of the cogs when he got trapped and tried to broken his way out, as it's only 2 auto attacks to destroy the cogs. But he just gets destroyed without doing anything, and I don't know. It is like Fire just don't know what to do in response to this axe. Swindlemelons is just completely destroying them, and even the swap might not be the best move.
Waiting, Midnight Pulse going to be dropped. Swindle, they're able to get the kill on the Vengeful Spirit after the swap is there to save their Enigma. Now the stolen Gust tries to get used from Seafreak to save him, but it's going to be too late. He gets taken down. Swindle now goes on to the chase. Ush has to step back. Demon comes in from behind with the nuke. Swindle could get kited and shot down here, but the spins could be there. He's trying to get the dunk off. He gets it off. He takes him down. Swindle gets the double. He is still doing just dandy and fine. Will walk away very wounded but alive. And Demon now has eyes for Mike, but it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. 3-for-1 actually all day. And Fire have already lost plenty near the Roche Pit when they had to spend into some buyback gold, so this is still pretty devastating for Fire.
This is just a slugfest, man. These guys are down in the trenches, battling it out, just living by hit point by hit point. The mechanisms doing a lot of work from both sides, but in the end, Complexity is just they have the better tools to take fights in between cooldowns. Like you were talking about in the pitch, the black hole was there, but the golem was not. Now the golem's there, but the black hole's not. They're just out of sync. They have too much time dependency on their abilities, and they just really can't take big objectives like Roche or even go outside too far away from their towers during those loop periods where they can't really engage in full. So great movement from Mike across the board, initiating confidently with his blade mail, and now Limp can make some really big plays happen. He's got 36 souls, 2 points in his ultimate, the Blink Yules. Anybody that he sees is pretty much food, lamb to the slaughter.
That's just part of the thing you expect. I mean, just making the black and white out of it, when you're investing into a core Warlock, you're basing a lot around that ultimate. Hence why it's so crucial and important to try to build up the Midas early and get the quick farm to go for that Agnes. Get the most out of the ultimate to be sure that it's like a one-and-done deal when you do commit the ult at the right time. Even Refresher to extend its potential even further, but when you don't have all that and the ults don't line up perfectly, things can get a bit sticky. Now Complexity move on forward from this bottom lane. They claim the tier 1. Swindle leading out the charge in the front lines. Even has the Crimson Guard nearly complete. Very good against the Brood and her Spiderlings to certainly help out his allies.
Dire's structures are
so we're going to be seeing just complete map dominance from Complexity. They've got these heroes that can just be crazy with their tempo. The Crimson Guard is going to come out for the axe very shortly, and that gives them all the survivability they can possibly need. A Chen also looking for a Eula Scepter. They've got a ton of great initiation tools, and they can really break down the team fights exactly how they want to. Really the only piece of the puzzle they're missing is trying to deal with the Warlock Golems. They don't have anything like a Diffusal Blade, but honestly, with all the damage they have right now, they actually should be able to mitigate their losses during the Golems as well. Demon is going to be pushing in mid lane. He does have a Midas. He is doing some good spider damage to the tier 1 in mid, but Mike is just going to look for the die, and with the fortification, it actually may or may not happen. Going for the hook play with the dust. Doesn't catch Demon over the cliff, and the tower falls to Cardi the Catapult, or the spider. Oh yeah, definitely is Cardi. So yeah, that is very, very unfortunate, but they still have so much to live for. They have so much going for them in this game.
It is good to see Demon getting a lot done and being flexible with his Brood in other lanes. When typically you see a lot of Broods, they plant and make their home on one lane, preferably that bottom lane, and just get the job there. But once the bottom lane gets claimed from Complexity, he moves right towards the mid, gets that objective, now he goes right for the top and adds pressure there. But Complexity are adding pressure themselves, pushing down this mid lane onto Fire. They're going to claim an easy tier 2. It's not Fire's time to fight quite yet. Black Hole and the Rock are going to be all online, but they were just hoping that maybe they'd be able to throw together an Agnes before it kind of reaches this point in the game when they have to get, you know, to maybe a high ground defense position.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, as far as that Brood rotation aspect you were talking about, that I think the biggest thing there is the spin web change being charge-based instead of the cooldown. It allows her to kind of uproot and make her home elsewhere a lot more frequently, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, I actually think that last tier 1 tower fight, like, it actually is one of the rare examples of where that free glyph is actually something that you don't always have to use. In the case where they had almost a guaranteed deny with Ike's Mike in that position, it would have been really smart to just leave the glyph to be unused and therefore get the deny. Instead, they left it up to chance and they don't make the play happen on Demons. He gets to be a nuisance. He gets to create space, and Fire get another shot at kind of rebounding back into this game with a little bit of gold.
As long as he's able to sit here, he gets a few shots in onto the Axe, who can't really blink away. He keeps the creep equilibrium down this low. He does not allow the creeps to keep moving up towards the oncoming dire creep wave, and just makes it so the pressure will always be there, and Swindle can't really go too far. If he goes too far, Demon's going to get this tower. So he's one of the only few, being the Axe, who could be the bodyguard for this lane, so he tries to surprise jump in and quickly eliminate, but here's Demon could just step in, get the nuke, and get the new set of spiders, but he's wants to make sure Swindle won't be able to jump onto him the second the blink is refreshed. So just constant mind games, constant side games happening here from Demon on the top lane.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a really good point. Swindle is really tied to this lane. He will get some extra gold here and there, 50 to 100, every time he spins on the spiders, but it's actually more valuable for Demon to have the lane advantage and the tactical fact that Axe is tied to the lane more so than just worrying about if Axe gets a few coins here and there. But he is building up very quickly towards his next big item there. He has the chainmail, and there are only a few options that really can be that. He could go for the blade mail to go along with the clock's blade mail and make it so that Fire don't get to return much damage at all. And I think that's probable, but there is the possibility that he just goes straight for an AC and looks to end the game with that.
I mean, are you hoping that you pop your blade mails together, that when the rocks come dropping from the sky, that Warlock gets blown up? I mean, considering he won't have a BKB, is there a trick to timing there in hopes that maybe you can return it? Because other than that, it's maybe more for Ush so they don't get focus fired as far as going not just one but two different blade mails.
Yeah, it can be very frustrating for the Warlock, too, if you Fatal Bonds together. People that are Blade Mail, they can reflect some good damage. But I think the biggest thing here is a combo that I theory-crafted a few months back when Midnight Pulse was like, they didn't even nerf the cooldown at the time. Like, it was just one of the most insane spells, and Enigma was being picked every game. Midnight Pulse scaling based on the enemy's HP can actually be a bad thing if they go Blade Mails and potentially harder to Rask. If two people go Blade Mail and Heart, suddenly Enigma has the choice, whenever he lays down Midnight Pulse, he has the choice of BKBing your Blade Mail damage to survive, and not having it for a black hole, or just dying outright, because your HP pool is so gigantic that the reflected damage can actually just kill him outright. It's actually hilarious.
With that, looks like Complexity can come together, make another attempt at this Roche. Pre-scouted right there from the Eidolons in lane. Complexity kind of second-guess maybe what it is to do. They want to get some wards down, maybe scout out potentially. As we check out the vision here, for them, they don't have a lot across the river, so they don't know exactly where Fire could be. Fire, they have vision right now onto Complexity. They know they're there. This nice little ward, which isn't the common spot. We'll see them dancing near this pit. They have not moved based on body language, though, that they're going to put up any sort of contention. Demon's going to have plenty of space here in the top lane to finish off this tier 2 if he wants, but there we see Complexity now move into the pit with that DD, and they're going to get the job done.
Radiant's top tower.
Fluff trying to go for some shenanigan plays here. I'm not exactly he's embedding himself into the tree line with a quelling blade, and he's just kind of making himself a little hovel where he can hide out until he finds the perfect time to ward and to just control positioning. But for now, at least we're going to see the free double damage Roshan kill go easily in their favor. It just comes out on the Shadow Fiend, and the tier 3 is pressured up on the top lane.
And Shadow Fiend has no TP, but Swindlemelons does. He TP's right in, gets the blink call on the Demon, though. Demon will be able to live. He goes up and above. They see the auto attack. Is he going to time out the hook? Oh, he tried to do it, but Demon does sidestep, so almost got it done there, Mike, for a nice highlight kind of a play, but Demon is ahead of time. But bottom lane, yeah, we're going to see Whitebeard could be caught out, and bam, big nuke damage. But,
yeah, he had the mech available, but just didn't expect a high roll in the Test of Faith. Thought he could save it for a second or two greedily, and yeah, he just doesn't get that opportunity. So yeah, they try to make an interesting little play there. I believe the intention of, I'm not going to get the taunt. I believe the intention for Swindle actually will be able to get on top of Demon here, but it looks like he's going to be outmaneuvered in the end.
The blink keeps getting canceled as well. It does create for more spins, but Demon needs to sidestep this. There's a gem on the Swindle, maybe trying to stall time. The TP's going to be there. Swindle steps back, but the call has already been used, and Demon finds his way back home. But man, oh man, not happy apparently with the new pathing that was altered a bit here from Valve in the game. Swindles has to, of course, let it know.
I don't with the amount of spins that he received there, I don't know if he can actually, even with a couple of extra auto attacks, put him into the Calling Blade range, and he didn't have the taunt to stop TPs, but wow.
That was a wreck. That was limp, just the 1-2 punch, the Yules, BKB, and then Requiem. See you later, Drow.
Now, one thing that was pretty interesting was what we saw Fluff and stuff doing in the Radiant jungle for a little bit. He got a nice little Observer Ward down there, but I don't think that was the full intention behind him going for that Quelling Blade play in the tree line. The Observer Ward was actually, I think, to try to go for a TP cancel with either Magic Missile or Nether Swap and try to go for kind of a $1 million Dream Coil play where that 2 or 3 man push on the top lane was actually went unrepelled because he could cancel a couple of TPs and allow them to fight with a numbers advantage. But we do see the hook going in, and Fluff and stuff now in a very bad spot.
They have Black Hole and the Rock, but this might not be the good time to use it. They lose Vengeful Spirit. Ush is still down, but they drop it now. That's an Agnum's Chaotic Offering. Mike getting hit up, but will be sent back home and away. Healed up as well from My Nuts. My Nuts, though, also could be in trouble, and just like that, the rocks go down. Now the jump in Black Hole follow-up is beautifully executed there from Whitebeard, and they attach the Fatal Bonds. Right click start flying out from Ush. Swindlemelon pops his Blade Mail, and they get the chop to take down the Enigma. Very low on life. They finally take down Shadow Fiend, but that's just going to be the Aegis pop. Demon's going to be there right on top of him, but the blink out now as Limp tries to make his escape. A strong defense coming out from Fire.
Yeah, that Black Hole is something they desperately needed to stay in this game. The 2-3 will probably have been forfeit if that doesn't come out. They're good at delaying this push, but they just lost so much that they needed something like that to put them back into it. Obviously, they're still very far behind, but just with those few kills they were able to acquire there, the Aegis and 3 actual kills, they're able to find a 1,700 gold increase, a 5,300 experience increase, and that's going to bring them to much closer to much needed items. They have a 10-second BKB in the Drow, along with her Master Madness Yasha, and yeah, we're seeing some Shadow Fiend play across the map.
That's just set up by Mike. The good assist right there as he jumps in, gets a hold of Fluff, and just an easy raise. Auto attack from a DD. Shadow Fiend is just no chance. 104 plus 187 damage, and now he has the Eagle Song on hand going straight for that butterfly. Ush is not on the path to an MKB quite yet, so being able to bring down their Shadow Fiend is going to be quite the task now for the little archer. So with that, it's going to be a bit unnerving. I mean, this is the point when Drow is hopefully cleaning out. They do have a good push happening top lane, but still plenty of structures up. Good strong defense for Complexity, even though they lose that mid lane push. Still feeling very confident at this point. Only 8 kills to the name of Fire. And maybe if Zefric was just in a slightly different position in that mid lane engagement, could have had the opportunity to make the steal play happen, but he just gets a little too close.
So for right now, we are going to be seeing just build up for Brax with the Hand of Midas gradually. They're kind of getting themselves back into things, but Complexity want to end this game pretty soon. They have a lot of potential to just destroy people, things like the Blink Yule's initiation, and Swindlemelons is no longer just forced to do one lane at a time. Even when Demon's kind of going for a little bit of backdoor play, not only do they have the Rocket Flare to globally execute, but he has BOTs. So if he is stuck defending a lane, he can still TP to be involved in the fight subsequently, and this just gives him so many more options across the map. This is what you can do with a one-position axe.
They now continue to add that pressure top lane. Looking to clear the tier 2, no defense, just more Demon. Jabbing at the bottom, but he gets caught from Mike. Mike starts dishing in the right clicks, and they go mano-y-mano, but Swindle jumps right in and says, "It's my party now," gets the dunk off, and Demon goes down. Easy execution and extermination of the Arachnid, and Swindles walks away the victor on that. And plus the tier 2 going down, Complexity build a lot more momentum for themselves. Their net worth begins to climb and now breaches the 10K net worth advantage.
I have to say that kill would be a lot harder if Demon activated his Insatiable Hunger just a little bit faster before the taunt came out. Because the big thing here is, although the Blade Mail does reflect 100% damage, he's life-stealing for 80 to 100% damage depending on the Hunger rank, and that would make it maybe so that he can live just a little bit longer, get out of the cogs and taunt duration. But as it stands, I mean, that's a lot of time. That's 7 seconds on the cogs, and of course the taunt goes up to 3.2 seconds. So, yeah, just trying to make the plays happen, but it is very successful being punished by the Puck.
Mike again gets the catch on the Ush, forces out a save from Fluff to swap back, who does have the DD and wants to go on to Mike. Mike could get brought down, will be brought down. That upheaval plus Midnight Pulse is quite the dynamic combo, but it doesn't last too long right there. Uh-oh. Nice BKB, and they get the black hole return on the Limp, and there goes Ush with the right-click damage. Focus firing Z-Freak. Gets the gush right there. The silence connects. Now the rock gonna get dropped on the follow-through from Brax from the high ground. Limp has to get the hell out of here, but he's eating lots of damage. Goes first on the fluff, clears out both of them. Double kill as he gets executed with the finishing Requiem. Demon looking to clean up this little frickin' Chen. Throws out the Yules, trying to get away, but Demon not done yet. Get the hell back here, Chen. Slow and painful death. No, he doesn't commit. Says, I got to get the hell back because Swindle shows up. Was looking to get there and be the aid, but a strong fight right there for Fire. Big gold swing going the way, about 2,500 gold.
Yeah. Now, I gotta say one thing about the Broodmother that allows him to have less options, specifically when he's engaging there against the Chen. The Necronomicon actually is really bad against Chen, especially when you are the Broodmother, because when you throw out that Necro, he's immediately going to only persuade the melee Necronomicon minion, and that makes it so that they get True Sight against you guaranteed. So, yeah, in general, you only use that when you know the Chen is pushing elsewhere, because otherwise you're going to be regretting it pretty quickly.
That your Chen going to be farming up the Ancients for now, brings in his little army and looks to get the job done, and he has, like you said, now tamed the dragon. So this army gets bigger. Mike misses the hook shot, maybe hoping to get a hold of Demon here, who is in enemy territory, kind of dancing in and out, eventually going to be scouted. Z-Freak, who has the sentry down, gets the lift. Uh-oh, here comes the army, and the stun lock's going to build up. Shockwave, the whole kit and caboodle. Demon, see you later. Mike's going to get that kill, and Broodmother will die. Freak barely alive. Oh, the Necro Book! Oh, it gets Yules even, just to make sure he gets away. So close. Demon almost got the one support trade, but nothing comes easy from Complexity.
Yep, just persuades one of the Necronomicon, the warrior, and then goes ahead and uses the ranged one to keep his buddy alive. And the Ancient Black Dragon actually isn't that great of a creep to get involved. Like, he's very tanky on the front lines, and that's all well and good. The damage, though, even accounting for the splash attack, it's kind of lackluster. It's a very slow siege poke prod type thing, and yeah, it's going to be more about just having extra forces to throw at this big wall here. The pure damage will still scale really well against the Black Dragon, and oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, they did change it, right, so that Nigma can't farm neutral. So yeah, never mind. Forget about that part. But nevertheless, even with Magic Immunity, he goes to the front line, and yeah, he's still allowed to take this tier 3 a little bit more destructively.
He's going to force out the glyphs. Swindle gets a hold of Ush, but the swap save is going to be there from Fluff, so Ush not going to be dragged towards the tier 3, which will be brought down. Brax, 4 seconds. Rock's going to be up at the ready. Whitebeard also waiting. He needs about 25 more seconds before the black hole's there. Z-Freak in an outside position on his Rubik, maybe to go for that epic steal. Filling his inner, maybe Kuroki up for this one, but it's a slow siege for now from Complexity. They get one objective. Oh my nuts is happy to go into the high ground and make it happen. Swindle again, gets the call and catch. This time there won't be the swap, and Ush could be annihilated. There's going to be the jump. The rock is there. Mike already hits Ush. Ush is able to step back, and now they look to make the turn. That black hole's got to be up in 1 more second. He can make the jump in call. Z-Freak is waiting for it, though, and even gets the Fade Bolt to prevent the blink in, but they still take down both Axe and Limp. Now they look to go for My Nuts, who is not going to be getting away. That rock makes the chase, and it's going to be a slow and painful death. Fire, again, a nice strong defense. They wipe out 3, and they lose no one.
Just really, every single one of these holds are such a big deal based on the fact that they're missing already so much golden experience. I mean, before this game was closing in on 12k in favor for Complexity, and now we're going to be seeing a very close contention across the board. It just seems like Complexity can't really finish this one out, and with the last pick Axe, they made it so that their late game isn't all that strong. It's still not terrible, but overall, the core of the Warlock should be able to overwhelm them, especially if a Refresher Orb is on the table, and Brax, he's got 5,700 gold after all these kills.
Imagine he's saving for obviously having reliable gold, a bit of a buyback, and maybe to straight Refresher to help out. They walk out from the Roche Pit just as it comes alive. Would have been a guaranteed Aegis snag for Fire if they waited just a little bit longer, but they feel the pressure to get objectives done while those 2 are down, or at least force out some buybacks if possible. Hookshot flies forward, but it's not going to be followed through. You still have the black hole. It was not used in the defense. They take down the tier 3. Ush's right click is so strong here. The racks get crumbled down, and now he could be in trouble. Yules is going to be there. Hookshot comes. Mike wants to push Ush back, but he goes for the TP, and he makes it out and away. Now Mike, desperate to get hold of something. Fluff, one of the last stragglers here. There's really nowhere for Fluff to go. He's just going to have to be the sacrifice. He does drop the gem, but the gem will be scouted and pinged right there from Mike. So with that, they step back. They know that there's going to be no chaotic offering for the side of Fire. Like I said, Black Hole's still on. I imagine both teams are going to look to scout out what's going on with Roche.
That was a huge mistake from Mike, honestly. Going in for the Vengeful Spirit there and letting the Drow slip away. It seemed like a good idea at that exact moment because of the fact that the Drow looked almost dead. If he hooks past the Drow, he can always cog her back into the team. But because she had the BKB TP available, he was the only one in range to cancel. The Berserker's Call wasn't in range, and the Chen didn't have a Dark Troll Summoner. So the Drow slips away, and that would have been the kill they needed to really feel much better about their proceedings throughout the next couple of minutes. But as it stands right now, the Shadow Fiend is starting to taper off, and I think he really needs this Aegis to keep himself involved. But Fire obviously looking to contest the Eidolon, see what's going on, and the Roche just doesn't fall fast enough, even underneath the presence of the Dark Lord.
Yeah, Fire keeping a watchful eye and even spiders. Oh, they see Ush with the rocket, and now they jump on in. He pops. Now they have the double rocket to be dropped right there from Brax. Black Hole could be coming. BKB's there, but they quickly do the Delta split. And Complexity step on away, but they are able to wipe down 2. Immediate buyback coming out from Swindle, but they lost Z-Freak. And with a half-dead Roche, Fire looked to finish what started inside the pit. Where'd the rocks
Swindle
go?
BOT mid. He's not able to actually get involved in this.
Yeah, Mike is getting just handled right here from the rocks. He might go down. He is saved from the hand of God. And with that, Aegis going to be picked up now from Ush. Big damage, man. You cannot underestimate the chaotic offering. The double Agnum's chaotic offering on top of that. It's just out of control. And Fire take this game right back. And if you look at the net worth chart, it started as what looked like near a 11K net worth lead. We're back to square even as far as net worth goes. XP about the same as well. We have a Dota game.
Yeah, most certainly. We see the Golems just spreading out, efficiently farming the jungle here. Brax is like, yeah, we got Fire for Fire, and that is really starting to burn. They are taking these fights hands down, and the one thing that you do have to remember is Complexity know how long the cooldowns are for Fire. The Refresher Orb and the Golem are both extremely long, and the big thing here is whether or not they can make a push before that comes back up, and in spite of the Black Hole. The Black Hole is big. It is deadly, especially in a choke point like these steps.
I think you said a stat like that before, but we saw a big surprise yesterday as it was Ehug who made the big comeback against Not Today. Well, Fire looked to do a bit of the same here. The racks contested. Limp sticks in. Tries to get a few pot shots in on the racks. Mind you, Ush has the Aegis, and they still have a Black Hole here. Buyback was already expended on the Swindle, so if he goes down again, he will be out for quite a while. So Complexity played this very timid, just poking right in and out, clearing out the wave. Very quickly, they want to continue to slow siege when they can because the initiation is all on their side. The jump in from Swindle, the jump in from Mike could be there. Brax still needs 45 seconds before he'll even have one chaotic offering. But it all comes down to positioning. Z-Freak so far and away wants to make sure he could get the steal if it's going to be there. Regardless of BKB or not, he could get that Black Hole.
Minuts did possess this Necronomicon Warrior, so that's theirs for the taking for a short time period. And the really interesting thing is this is a desperation push from Complexity. They know that up against a double Warlock ulti, they could probably just lose the game outright. So they don't want to wait 48 seconds, but they wanted to push and finish off these racks before at least one golem came up, and that's obviously not going to happen. They are really just, alarm bells are going off. They're trying to figure out the cleanest way to end this game, but nothing's really coming. It really has to be Swindle to make these huge taunt plays and Clock to find some pickoffs. Like Ike's Mike, they're scouting out wards, but it's going to take more than just a little bit of vision advantage to really make that pickoff happen. They need to maybe find Demon overextend and kill him, and then also try to find a way to break this Aegis, or at least wait it out.
They just can't afford investing so much time at the front gate of the Fire home if they can't breach high ground. And that's one of Fire's best attributes in this game so far. Plus, you got Demon here just being that little weasel, but he gets caught! The weasel in the hole gets pulled right out, and they're grabbing him by the neck. They want to get Demon. Can Swindle make the jump? He can't. Demon's going to get eradicated on the bottom lane. What a hookshot catch from Mike.
That was incredible. That really was just full prediction. I mean, he knew in general where webs were, so he knew that he probably would be in this kind of central area of the web, waiting in the tree line, but still, If you consider the width that hook actually has, that was an incredible play, and it opens up so much off the map for them. They go again with the Aghanim Scepter ultimate, having the vision of this high ground plateau ward, and that's a gem of true sight hitting the deck. What seemed to be a full turnaround for Fire is now being dusted once again, and we could see the graphs oscillating back the other way.
Mike making back-to-back clutch initiations to wipe 1, then 2. Demon does have the buyback if necessary, given that because Fluff died, you got that Vengeance Aura that is going to be working to their benefit, at least for the meantime, even if it's just a little bit on nerfing down Limp's
Radiant's
big
middle
right
barracks
click.
are under attack.
You also have the other side here. Brax is going to have both rocks available. This is such a hard thing to break through, regardless if you have a nice little BKB or not. It is going to be devastating. I don't see a defusal happening there. This is just going to still be a tough task for Complexity to try to make that breach play happen. And the longer this game goes, and they get team wipes, Fire look to go the other way. We get into a situation where they try to at least pull out the buybacks. And then you have Fire, who don't have the ultimates at the ready. We could be in for a long back-and-forth game, Blaze.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, I want to note real quick a little bit about the Drow Ranger build here. I do agree with everything. Like, the MKB, BKB is very important. The Manta style is good since they buffed how the illusions work with marksmanship. But the bottom line is, Drow Ranger doesn't have that much agility from her items. Like, it's almost all from her ultimate. You actually look at this aura, and while this is the main reason you probably picked the hero, it's only giving plus 65 to the team. That's not terrible, but it's more than nullified by the Crimson Guard. In fact, it actually takes 140 agility from a Drow Ranger to make up for what the Crimson Guard blocks when it's active. So, in this case, when the Drow is in range enough to lose the marksmanship, she's actually not giving that much via Precision Aura.
So with that, your Aegis will expire. It may not have allowed the Fire squad to go on the offensive and try to push into the base of Complexity, but it definitely helps stall out the time a little bit longer. Allow the cooldowns to get fresh. Ush to itemize a bit further. He already has that MKB. He's got near 4.5k after he cleans out this Ancient stack, so his right click going to be right up on par with this Shadow Fiend, but his positioning has been pretty good. Being caught out even from Mike. Fluff's been right there with the swap and the save, and he finds himself in an opportunity to really unload the damage, but we'll have to see here. For now, it's worked very nicely inside the Fire home. They need to find a way to go on the offensive, though, and get to the other side.
These late-game clockwork plays have so far kept them in it, but I really do think that Brax is kind of like that superior hard carry. Like, this guy can do so much with these golems, and right now he's been kind of AFK. Like, he's just been chilling out in this exact position for a while now. Midas coming off cooldown. Probably needs to get involved, but the bottom line is they're worried about smoke plays when they don't see enemies on the map, and they cannot make a mistake. They don't want to waste a buyback at a clutch time period. They need Brax to be ready to fight at the right time. Handle Guy comes out. It's pretty casual, though, just fully healing his neutral creeps, and of course it is only a 30-second cooldown with the Aghanim Scepter.
That magic GG rune is at the top of the river right now for either team who's there to scout it on out, and that could percolate Team Fire to maybe go on the aggressive if it does end up falling into the hands of a certain Ush, but you can say the same for Complexity. There's the jump. They get Ush all on his own. He's going to be forced to BKB and try to TP the hell out of there. Swindle can't get close enough. He cannot get around to get the call. Ush gets out of there, and he will be fine. Very close call right there for Ush.
If the Force Staff had come out just a... Oh, actually, that was from the Clockwork himself. Oh, Mike, he could have made the play happen. If he had followed up the hook shot by forcing the axe into the cogs for the taunt, that would have been like a game-winning play. But he gets the first half, and unfortunately, he's just too hesitant on the second one. So it's going to be Drow Ranger to slip away, expending another BKB charge, and Limp up on the top lane, just getting a lot of farm, potentially clearing out a lot of spiders, but Demon keeps those away, and they're actually baiting a bit here. They get the hook onto Demon once again, but there might be follow-up with the Midnight Pulse coming through.
They get the swap save from Fluff. Limp gets waved now. Here comes Whitebeard. Thinks about it one time. They get the call onto Fluff. They'll be able to take out the Vengeful Spirit. Hook shot not going to connect right there. Try to make the long reach. It looked like maybe onto Brax or the Demon on the way out, but it's not going to catch. They only walk away with a little bit of a support grab. Fluff walk away, and they'll just continue to farm it on up. This is just very high-tension play from both sides. Big picks like that without a buyback could cost you the game at any moment. Maybe not a Vengeful Spirit, but a grab onto someone like Ush when he doesn't have the gold for the buyback. A Brax. and it could be game-changing.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I mean, the Enigma, the Venge, and the Warlock were all there on the top lane, and if the Circles had been a little bit better, if everybody had clustered up just a little bit more, you could have seen a double Golem or a Black Hole come through, and that could be actually Fire using Demon as bait to create like this incredible game-winning team fight. But it looks like all of that will not stay passive, as there's another hook in from Mike.
Mike is just on it, trying to get the setup there for his team. This time, though, it's a little too far and into too much trouble. He will be able to walk away. He has plenty of durability to eat some extra pot shots there. Just letting him know that he constantly has their number. Demon again, though. He wants this tier 3. It's very low. Gets the Battle Hunger out, goes immediately for the TP, but it's going to be canceled. Now he's trying to walk away. Lag begins to spike. I hope this isn't due to the Beast thing as Demon makes his way out. Up and above, but there's Ush. Steps in, steps back. He pops the Necro Book for this one. Boots of travel. Here comes Mike. Hook. Could he get the hook shot? Waiting for it. Demon trying to body block, trying to wait it out. 1-2. Oh god, the battery still connects. Demon turning in circles.
Oh.
He has nowhere to go. Down. No, the call's gonna miss. He's trying to get the hell out of there. The hook does connect and Demon will go down. Oh man. Creating space, I suppose, making him run all over the place, but they get that wascally wabbit.
Instead, like, this is it. The Rocket Flare will come out. I think it will see it just when it respawns. Yeah, the After Vision will be seeing this Roshan respawn, and Complexity can go in and force Demon's buyback. That is just a beautiful timing coming in for Complexity, and it's all because the TP canceled from the Broodmother. Swindle taunted the spiders. Great to farm, but then it allowed Demon to go in and just throw a few punches at the tower, which is perfectly fine if you immediately get the retreat. But he started the BOTs, then canceled them. That was him canceling it, and as a result, he gets gunned down as an extended chase actually brings him. And now we see the Chen army flying in, and again, they're looking to force Demon's buyback or take Cheese and Aegis. Either one will work for them.
They can get it quick if there's not going to be contention from Fire, and it looks like there won't be. Top lane, you have Ush, who's looking to TP. He heads as far as the army here on the bottom as they make the push happen, and just like that, Roche is down. Fire don't seem to have the whereabouts as far as what the hell's going on. Maybe they park themselves in the corner for now, but they do have to be careful. Complexity are on the move out from the pit as they sweep through their own jungle. They head towards the bottom. The heal's going to be there to recover, I suppose, from the Roche.
Actually left the Blink Dagger in the pit here. That's a little bit risky, but the courier will be able to pick it up. Shadow Fiend running the Aegis and focusing mostly entirely on right-click damage.
Chen, though, bottom, who tried to side push it out. Mike shows up, but it's too late to save Chen. Now he gets gusted, silenced, and they're going to turn it onto him. He gets the ghost, so he's going to walk away. Swindle jumps in and tries to create the zone in space, but he's got the blade mill up. Ush, careful not to hurt himself, pulls out the BKB and starts unloading that right click, but Swindle can take a licking and keep on kicking. The rock's going to get dropped from behind now, and it's going to be a double kill for Ush. Black Hole follow-up catches on both. Limp's going to be in trouble. Stolen Black Hole, but he gets swapped and it's going to be canceled. Aegis now going to be popped out here. Limp going to be back for the second life. Telekinesis on the fluff lifts him up. The rocks start to right-click, and it does so much damage on the Limp. Oh, the Ray's not going to be enough to take down Brax. Brax on the walk back, heals himself. Limp has to walk away, run away from these huge Golem army here. But man, when it's all said and done, it is a 4-for-1 trade, and it costs 2 buybacks. It's not over yet. Ush gets the clear onto Z-Freak, and he wants more. Moving on forward, has no blink to catch up. Tries to get the one shot with the arrow. Gust does slow him down. Upheaval. Oh, he steps back, so he doesn't pursue. Fluff's still on it, though. Gets the stun on the high ground. He needs the help. The right click's got to be there. Limp is dead. 100 seconds, going to be forced to buy back. Fire going to try to get out, but the upheaval was going to be slowing him down. Hook shot in. Swap save on Ush. Ush desperate to TP out. Does not make it out. Gets taken down from Chen at the last second, it almost looks like. And when the dust settles, Complexity
it's not over yet. Demon's in the base. He's going for the melee Rex while he gets the chance, but now having to retreat. Oh my gosh, so many buybacks spent by Complexity. Essentially their entire insurance policy here on the Radiant side, but Fire just took some amazing fights, exhausting big cooldowns, and this has got to be Complexity going for an all-in. They have 100 seconds to win this game outright.
Yeah, that 100 being the Black Hole being down. Chaotic needs 70 for its back up, but they got to go. I mean, it's that or you have to stall out even further in hopes that you can get your buybacks back, but Fire don't want to wait for that. They're going to stall out a little bit for these ults to get back online, then it's their time to go to the other side. But a huge advantage for them. Just after Complexity were able to take down the Roshan, secure the Aegis for themselves, maybe not expecting it. MyNuts gets caught on the bottom, and they try to go in and help out, but they have the kiting potential. They keep their space. They slowly take down Complexity one by one, and man, what a fluff save with that swap. The stolen black hole was not going to be executed there. Nice sidestep here from Demon in the top lane to avoid Swindle, but that could have been a disastrous turnaround Z-Freak black hole, but Fluff was right there with that swap. Unbelievable plays from both sides.
Yeah, if you just go back and watch that fight in slow motion, there were some really great ways of responding to the different cooldowns that were used, and Complexity overall, just they didn't have the full response they wanted to. They were BOTing and blinking into bad positions, but now a crit comes out, Brax dropping low, and the hook shot will finish it! BKB is popped, and they are looking for that all in play now. The buyback comes out, or like immediately buying the Hex while buying back, and that's going to be enough for him to force Complexity on the run. He now has one golem, 30 seconds for number 2. But Complexity, again, they have pretty much this full countdown timer. A double Hex and a double Golem, there's no way they can finish it. They have to pick off somebody with their sheep stick and go in for the kill.
Well, they're jumping in. They got 2. He locks them into a prison, and they focus fire the Rax. Ush is there to try to keep them back, but they drop the 1. Range goes down. Now the Rock gets taken down. Just 1 as he waits for the refresher. Limp gets hit with the swap back to save out Ush. Swindle trying to put the focus on himself. Has the blade mail going to be popped, but Ush starts unleashing the right-click fury, and he will be taken down. 2 minutes. Swindle will be out with no buyback. Now they drop the second rock as they catch up and move on to forward to MyNuts. They try to turn back with their own stolen rock, but they're going to also be taken down. Both supports drop. Double kill for Demon. Fire looked ahead to the other side, and with that, Mike tries his best to add pressure onto the top lane, and Limp, who's already walking back to the base, knows that he's going to be one of the lone defenders.
This is the base breaker here. We've got Rubik with no money for buyback, the rest with no time, and the Cheese is still up for the one of the heroes of, actually it's Z-Freak himself who's dead, so they're just going to go in, they're going to finish off the Rax, go for the tier 4s here, and they've got still the Hex, they've still got the Black Hole, and they've still got the game-winning cooldowns. They have played an amazing game to get to this point here, and it looks like they are going to 2-1 Complexity and advance forward here in the Fallout Major All-Stars.
Pays off. Yep, this is the last hurrah. They get a catch, they get a Requiem, but there's the Black Hole from Whitebeard. And that's it. Limp says we've had enough. The Rex falls at that same moment. And all the way to Game 3. Fire come right back. They had dropped Game 1. Game 2, they found their way. And Game 3 was very back and forth. You're talking what started as a 10K net worth event for Complexity swung the other way for Fire. It looked like it was going to be reclaimed once more from Complexity. But then after that Aegis and the catch-off on bottom, Fire just found a way to secure this one. And with that, they are going to move on to the finals here. And unfortunately for Complexity, they played a valiant game. Very impressive first-round performance, but their road here in the Fallout Gaming Majors will conclude.
Yep, so one of the top 7% of comebacks coming in from Fire here, and that just goes along with the one E-Hug pulled off yesterday. It's been an amazing qualifier run for a lot of these teams, but we're going to be seeing the conclusion very shortly, and yeah, I can't wait to see what these teams bring. All is on the line, but Complexity, they put up a really good fight. I love to see what Mike brought to the table. Some amazing hook shots, some powerful initiation, counter initiation, but in the end, they just didn't have the late game to allow it. The last pick, Swindle and Zax, it's something that can go the distance for quite a long time, but 51 minutes in, it just can't do enough.
And with that, that's going to conclude our first series of today. We got another best of 3 coming up in about 20 minutes time. We had a little bit of delays, but we still got 20 minutes, and that second best of 3, and the other semifinal matchup is going to be Team Leviathan taking on E-Hug. Should be a good one there. Looking forward to it. That's going to be happening right here on Beyond the Summit. Show your love and support by hitting follow on the channel. You can also show your support for the tournament heads themselves and for the players by getting the ticket there on the Dota TV for the Fallout Major All-Stars. And a piece of that pie, of course, it goes to the prize pool, which is starting at a base $100,000, where the LAN final is going to take place in Malaysia. We're looking for that one NA team to kind of make it through the qualifier, and that will be coming up in just a moment. Catch us over on our Twitters at KotLGuy, at BlazeCasting, and our stats guy at KartDota. Be back in about 20 minutes time for our next matchup between E-Hug and Leviathan.